Welcome to the Solopreneur CEO podcast. This show is for solopreneurs who have built something real, but are carrying more of the load than they want to be. Your business works, but it depends too heavily on you. And deep down, you know it shouldn't feel this hard. Here, we talk about the mindset, systems, structure, and support it actually takes to run a business without burning yourself out. We're not about hustle culture, pushing harder, or doing more just to survive. This podcast is about stepping out of reactive solopreneur mode and into CEO level leadership, so your business can support your life instead of consuming it. If you're ready for honest conversations, real world strategies, and a lot less pretending, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back. Today we're talking about systems. Hopefully you didn't turn us off. I have noticed with a lot of small business owners and solopreneurs that when they hear the word systems, they're thinking, oh no, I don't need to have systems. I'm free-spirited. That's why I got into doing this. There's always fires that need to be put out and I do what needs to be done, but that's what's going to lead you to exhaustion. Systems are not just tech. You don't have to associate it with anything other than making leadership decisions. That's what a system is. It's deciding what needs to be done to prevent yourself from spinning out. Am I right, Karen?
Absolutely. Most people, when they think of systems, they do go straight to the tools like software, automation, platforms. But you're right. I mean, systems actually start with decisions, decisions about workflows, what does what, like what steps are in your process, and how you can design it that you don't have to actually manually do everything. And so that, yeah, when you skip that part of deciding and you just go straight into tech, I mean, you can get really overwhelmed. That's why AppSumo is like $1 billion company because I think any solopreneur has heard of AppSumo. If not, go to appsumo.com. Do not buy anything, just look at it. But that's why it's so popular because, it's a company, a genius idea that will connect business owners with tools at a lifetime, usually a lifetime price. That's a special deal that's only available for a short amount of time. And it's usually these developers that have created tools that they want to like get to market. And when you create something like that, you need users because that's the only way to get feedback. I mean, that's a lesson for us too as solopreneurs, by the way, because we will tinker and play around with our offers till the high heavens come out, but we haven't actually put it out there yet and got, the only way to really know an offer is going to work is to get it out to the market. And so that's what AppSumo helps those developers do, get it out to market. And that's why it's so popular because we will buy tools and never even log in. like or set up the account once and like look around, decide we're overwhelmed, and then check out. Like it's so common. So if you are like nodding your head, like, oh my God, yes, that's me, you are not alone. You have found your people here. So that's literally something that I think a lot of solopreneurs, our clients, have done. It's very popular because the tool is the first thing you think is going to solve your problem. And so you see a tool, you're like, oh, that feature sounds like it would actually do what I need to do. But when you haven't actually made the decisions about how you want this to be structured and how you want it to flow, the tool is not going to be the savior. Like you have to start there. And so, yeah, I'm so glad you brought that point up.
When I was a consultant for a marketing agency, I would panic buy things off of AppSumo because I was like, this is going to solve all of my issues that I'm having right now because I was the only person in charge of certain accounts and I was overwhelmed and I was fearful. And so I was like, I'm just going to throw some money at it. And I'm going to buy this thing because AppSumo is going to solve all my problems. But I have found many things that I've used that have been very beneficial. The software that I purchase, it has to make sense what I'm using it for. So one of the things that I use, it's a SendSpark. It's kind of like Loom or Vimeo where you can record your desktop or you can record a video, but then there's a button that people can click and you can have the copy. So I would do that with personalized messages. That's how we got a couple of our Success Secret Society members was I sent them individual messages and it was just my face, you know. I sent it in an email, there's a little thumbnail and they clicked on it and it was like, "Hey, name, wanted to tell you that the doors are open." And I got so many responses from that where people were like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for the personalized message. That was cool. It's great. It's effective. The ROI is amazing, especially since I think I paid 47 bucks for it and have like lifetime access and every iteration like it's just included in that one-time fee I paid. And now I think it's 97 a month or something. But if I don't have a system like this is what I'm going to do when doors are open, I'm going to send a DM and then I'm going to follow that up with an email video or whatever, you are kind of just throwing money away. Then it doesn't make any sense. So buy the tools if you need them. Don't buy them to solve your problems, but think about what do I need to do to make this effective? and and then do that.
That's a perfect ending sentence for that thought is like, buy the tool to execute the decision you've made on how you want this to work. So if you decided this is the process and this tool will help you execute that process, boom, good. But when you just kind of panic buy different things because you think it's going to solve a problem, but you haven't fully mapped out what you're trying to do and made a decision on how it's going to work, you end up with a tool graveyard that you're like, why did I even buy this? This was such a waste of money. When you're doing taxes at this time of this episode, probably a lot of people are in that mode. You're like, why did I buy that? What did I even do? I didn't even use that. And then you have the guilt, right? The guilt that comes with overspending on things that didn't actually help you. I mean, it turns into a spiral. So to avoid that, you do want to start with thinking through how you want the business to operate, how you want your processes to flow, and then what tools can help you execute that. And especially when they can take the manual work out of it. Like Marsha was able to use that SendSpark tool to create the video and it easily would email it to the person and let them watch it and they could respond. All of that could happen in the tool and she didn't have to take additional actions. That's the kind of stuff you want to think about and decide how you want it to work. Is minimal involvement with you manually as needed. And if it is something that requires you to be fully in, that's fine too. But that's a decision. It is a conscious decision. It's not like you're just doing that because you don't know a better way or you haven't really thought it through and you're just kind of doing stuff. That's what we want you to avoid.
Yeah. You're never going to regret spending time at the beginning of exerting effort considering what is going to be the best course of action, unless of course you're using that as a way to procrastinate and not actually get out whatever you need to get out. That's what the systems are going to do is they're going to help with your energy. They're going to help with your accessibility too. So like me sending that, like it was friendly and it was warm. And for the people who were ready to join right away, they're like, "Oh, I know this girl. I've worked with her before. She's amazing. She's great at communities. I'm going to click and apply right now." They could do that. The purpose of the video was to be thoughtful. These recordings I did do were like 30 seconds. You want to think about like the user experience on the user's end, but then also for you as well. You need to think that stuff through and then push it out.
Really, we're talking about you don't have to remove yourself from the business to have systems. Sometimes people will be like, well, if I have a system set up and then I'm not involved. I remember helping a client who her business was very high touch. She was a doula. So I don't think you get more high touch than helping somebody deliver their baby. Like, that is like super. I got to be there with you. When she would get new clients, there was this whole educational process and like the whole onboarding of the client was very intense and it required so much time from her that she was self-sabotaging getting new clients because she's like, I can't handle doing 3 onboardings right now. She had people who were like, I'm about to have a baby, help me out. And she's like, oh, I can't, let me refer you. And I'm like, but why? We dug into all of that. And at the end of the day, it's like, no, you can 100% systematize this And this is how you can stay involved. We went through that and we ended up creating an onboarding process that someone could sign up. They paid the fee and signed all the things they had to sign, the contracts, whatever. And then this whole process kicked off, and they felt very handheld by her the entire time through the process, but she didn't have to manually or physically show up for anything. It was all automated. It was a lot of video involved, but like it made people feel like she's right here with me, walking me through this, helping me out, but it didn't require any time from her. And next thing you know, I think it was like 90 days later, and she had five more clients. And she's like, this has never been better. Like, like, she was so happy. And though that seems so simple, but it made such a difference in how her business was operating. And it started with the decision. This is how I want the process to flow. This is how I want them to feel. This is what I want them to receive. But do I have to physically show up on a Zoom call to do that and be on there for hours answering questions that are pretty much standard? The way they react to the process of pregnancy and delivery is a little different, and everybody has their own birth plan, all that stuff. But having a baby is kind of like, this is how it works, right? It's not going to be, but it's so different for each person. So, like, a lot of what she was going over in a 3 hour Zoom call, because the person has so many questions and she's not going to be like, well, that's it. It's 60 minutes is over, and hang up. But she was able to like really create a process that answered all their questions. And then if they still had other ones, that are really specific, there was a way to get that. But the point is, it didn't remove her from the process, but it created a system that she could actually take on more clients than she ever thought she could have at the same time because she had these systems in place. And so that's the stuff that, we're talking about with systems, and how that's a leadership choice and how you're leading the business and being an owner instead of an operator. That's really what the systems come down to. And so it doesn't matter what the system is, what the tool is. It really matters what your vision is and how you want everything to work.
Just being able to release that mental load of thinking you have a lead and they're engaged, and then once that happens, there's excitement and everything, but knowing that whatever system you put in place is working behind the scenes, that releases so much of your brain bandwidth. Like, you don't have to think like, "Oh shit, well, I need them to, once they send in the non-disclosure, then I need to send the payment link." Karen set all that up behind the scenes for the society. It's so succinct. We get an email with the application, and so we do read them through together and then we discuss and everything, but that's part of I mean, we don't wanna just, quickly approve anyone into the membership, so that's by design. Once we both decide, we move that over and then it kicks off everything, and so, yeah, like, we want people as soon as like, I think for our members, because they are all solopreneurs and experts in their fields, we wanted to be very succinct and very clear, and so that is how we communicate. We believe in brevity. I get all of my words out on the podcast and on my blog. When it comes to the membership, we want people to know immediately, this is what I need to do, A, B, C, click, 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 and then there you go. You're in a supportive community. So, yeah, but like just having that where we don't have to think like, okay, Karen, did you send the approval to this person? Okay, well, I'm going to send an email and just say like, hey, did you have a chance to check out the NDA, blah blah blah. There are so many different touch points that you can have if being thoughtful and hand holding is like part of your brand and your ethos for your business, you can have on every single communication that you put out, book a 15-minute call with me or something like that, where it's conveying that you're available to help them in any way they may need, but like keep it at 15 minutes so that they know that there's boundaries. Maybe have it in your like onboarding contract or something that says that you get up to 4 of these a month or whatever. But I was just thinking about your doula, and it's like pregnant ladies can be a situation. I've been pregnant a couple times and I was a situation. So make sure that the systems are keeping that in mind too, just to prevent any issues from coming up later down the road. When we were discussing the episode before we hit record, I thought of a friend who I have who she used an automated CRM for like people people that were looking to hire her service. I'm trying not to give any identifiers, but basically she had this CRM that was supposed to send out everything. Like as soon as somebody applies or submits a request or whatever, this is how it's going to happen. She had it going for like 2 months and it was broken. The system was broken, so I think it sent out like the first email. We have regular coffee dates and she was just like, the amount of guilt I felt about that and the amount of shame, it's like I'm running this seven-figure company and I have people who were reaching out, requesting my service, and they were freaking ghosted because I thought this thing was working in the background and it was not in fact working. So your systems need a system, meaning you need to always be checking in and make sure that there aren't broken parts of the process because that will screw you up so much. We don't want you to have that mental drama. Create the systems, and it's the same with AI. Like, you want to be checking on these things. Like, you always need to have the human involved, especially in the beginning, but periodically, like, just put it maybe not quarterly, but once a month, like on one of your CEO days where you're just doing the administration type stuff. Just make sure that whatever tools you're using, that it's actually working as it's supposed to.
That is very important because systems are not meant to make your business rigid or like I'm locked in and boxed in. The real point of the system is to make your business resilient. And you want to have faith in that. You want to know that it's working. You want to know that it's actually doing what you intended for it to do. So I love that you brought in the CEO day and just checking on those systems like at least once a month. There are always tech hiccups. And if you have someone, sometimes you might have a contractor that does that for you, whatever, if it's you or a contractor, a BA, it's just important that there are eyeballs, human eyeballs, that are making sure emails are firing and workflows are connecting. We use a system, so it's kind of like an all-in-one, which is beautiful because we don't have to duct tape a bunch of things together. We don't have to worry about if this system talked to the other system. Like it's all in one system, which is nice. That can be a risk too. I mean, some people are averse to that because they're like, I don't want everything in one place because if that goes down, then everything. There's pros and cons to everything. You'll hear us say a lot of times on this podcast that everything works. So just find what works for you. For us, having an all-in-one is what's most comfortable for us, and it's a very reliable all-in-one system. So we're okay with that, but I still check on it. Marsha still checks on it. We have to make sure emails went out. We have to just make sure that things are working. And that's part of being a business owner. You can't ever really escape that. But the point of the system and setting up the structures in your business is so that you do have resilience and that you can grow, that it's not a chaotic growth, that you can grow comfortably and sustainably because you have a strong foundation and you have a strong backbone for the business to grow on with your systems and your tools and processes. So it is not something that you can not do. It's not something you cannot do. Like you kind of have to have systems and systems for your systems and check-ins with your systems, but it's not again meant to box you in. It really is meant to just be the thing that sustains you as you grow, as big as you want to be. You could be growing to any certain revenue number, or maybe you have a certain client threshold. Whatever your targets are, your business should be able to help you get there in a way that doesn't kill you in the process or make you feel like burning it all down or like you're living in chaos. That's just not a healthy place. So that's why we are so passionate about having the systems that can help you get there without all that.
The fact that we got started in the Stone Ages back in 2012, 2013, everything was kind of disjointed. But then you have these developers who are like, what are people's pain points? What can help these entrepreneurs succeed, you know? And so the fact that we're able to have that software where everything is housed in it, Karen's our systems person. So she'll be putting stuff together and like I realized, oh, so this is here? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, and this is here? And she's like, yeah. I want to contribute. Like I want this to be an equal partnership. And so I was like, oh, well, I can do this part and I can do that. So we created a system for me to be involved in the software, which it is kind of intimidating for me. And I'm also the type of person where I hate doing something if I have to do it one time, like unless I'm getting paid for it, obviously. Like I'll go in and help small businesses with their SOPs and their CRMs. But like for me, it's like if I'm doing it one time for my business to get it set up, I'm like, meh, like I don't know. My brain just kind of it doesn't really like it. But the fact that like everything is so succinct now and it all works together and it all connects, like, yeah, there is that little bit of fear, like, oh no, like what if it goes down or something? And then it's like, you know what? If it goes down, we still have our email, we have our Google Drive, like there we have everything backed up in a different way. So like worst case scenario, we have to set stuff up, but that's fine. That's just part of it. But like we're not going to just bojangle it until the end of time because we're afraid that the software is going to stop working. Like you just move on, like you just figure it out. Systems are good. Having that forethought and making those decisions, it's going to help you out, especially like if you've been in business. Because like in the beginning, when you first get started, you're going just on like adrenaline and grit and hustle and excitement because people are paying you for something that you are bringing to them, that's bringing value to their life or their business or whatever. So you're going off of that pure blissful energy of being like a young budding entrepreneur. But once you have been in business for a long time and you know that things aren't working, like there are people that can help you with that, and there's software and tools that can help you with that. We want you to reach your full capacity, whatever that image is that you have. If you feel like things are broken or they could be working better, or you're saying no to clients because you don't have the capacity, it could be a system issue. And so, you know, we're hireable. You can hire us. We can do a one-on-one or a two-on-one or whatever. Like, or you can join our community. We have a free online community at the solopreneurceo.com. You can join the free community. You can become a society member. We do hot seat coaching. Like there's so many options. Don't just stay stuck because you're like, this is too overwhelming. We need to talk to people. We need to say like, this is what I want, or this is how I've been doing it. How can I do it better? And then you do it one time and then it's done. Or you hire someone to do it for you one time and then it's done. And then you check on it.
Yeah,
And then you check
got
on
to
it.
check on it. Don't forget the check on it part. No, I love that. Systems don't have to feel heavy or intimidating or like something that is a new concept that you're like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in that. And you don't have to do everything at once. It can feel very overwhelming when you're like, okay, fine, I need systems, but where am I supposed to start? And so you just have to really think about those decisions, like we talked about earlier, and then design your processes and then go from there. Then you start to figure out what tools, what kind of SOP will help you execute. Like that's really the best place to start. And you don't need fancy tools. You really don't. It can be very simple tools. I mean, it could be just a better way to use your Google Drive or like it can be simple, it can be complicated, it can be whatever you want it to be. But you just have to start to make the decisions and figure out what's going to work best for you.
Yep. Create that lean, mean, systematized machine. Such a dork. But seriously, it's like just create those systems so that you're able to conserve your energy and be in that CEO role of leading your business as opposed to constantly having that tornado of doom spinning in your head. Like, what am I missing? What Karen said, it's like you don't eat an elephant all at once, like in one bite. You take bites out of it. The quarterly planning workshops that we do, it's helpful because it's like, okay, I'm going to focus on that in the next 3 months. We can do anything in 3 months. The first thing is admitting that you have an addiction to not having systems, and then and then we take it from there. Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If this episode made you feel seen or helped something click, join our free community at thesolopreneurceo.com. This is a space to connect with other solopreneurs who are building sustainable businesses and don't want to do it alone. And if you found this conversation helpful, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and reminds them they're not the only ones feeling this way. We're really glad you're here, and we'll see you in the next episode.